Hi, this is Suchi, and in our today's video, we will look into different common data types in Python and obviously about variables. So let us start by launching our Python. So let me check the folder where I kept the Python files, and let me open the terminal here. So in my previous video, I have already shown you how to launch the terminal. So I showed you this command, Jupyter Notebook. There is another command which will perform the same thing. So I will do that now. Python-m notebook. So this will also launch our Jupyter Notebook. So once I get this URL, this is my default browser, but I want to access it in my Chrome browser. So I'll copy the URL and I will open the Chrome browser. So one warning, that is, do not close this terminal or do not stop this process by pressing Ctrl+C or something, because then you will not be able to access the notebook. So this was the notebook we previously created. Let us work inside that itself. So today we will talk about the variables. So if you are from a programming background, you must be already knowing what are the variables. If you are not, then let me just tell you, variables are nothing but something that can have a value which will vary over the time. So here we give some name to a variable. Whatever name we want, we can give a single alphabet also, but generally we should give some meaningful name to a variable so that it will convey what is the purpose of that variable. So let us name our variable as age. And then you will understand, okay, this is a variable which is having the value of age of some person. Or if I name a variable as name, so you will easily understand this is a variable which is having the name of a person and which will give us a sense of the purpose of that variable. So this is how naming of variable is important in coding. Now, when we talk about variables, they will have a name definitely. Along with a name, it will also have a value. Now the value will be of different types. So for example, I talked about age. So age can be what? Age can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 24, 26, 27, whatever it is. So age can be a numeric value. So that value is of numeric type. So basically the point of saying is the value will have some type. If I say name, so name will not be a numeric value. That might be Ram, Rahim, whatever it is. So if it is, let's say Ram, so what it could be? It won't be a numeric value. So what it would be? It would be a string value, a text value, alphabetical value or alphanumeric value. So that is the type of that value. So in Python, we have different types. What are the data types available in Python? So let me convert it into Markdown. There are many data types, but we are going to look into the very basic ones which we are commonly using. So we will be using these data types very often. So we will talk about these data types. So first thing is what? First thing is string type, which is actually in Python we call it as str. Second thing is integer. So in Python, we call it as int. Third thing is float. So in Python, we call it float. And the fourth thing is Boolean. So we call it Boolean here. And the fifth thing is none type. So in Python, we call it none. So these are the five basic data types, and there are some derived data types in Python also. So among those derived data types, let me mark it as basic. And there are some derived data types, and among them we will just discuss the most common one, most important ones. So let's name those. So first thing is list. So we will discuss about it. Till then, let me note it down. Another is dictionary. Then comes the tuple. And we will also talk about the sets. So there are set. So let's start with our first thing, that is string. So what is a string type? What is a string type? So let's talk about strings. String type is nothing but alphanumeric values. Alphabetical values as well as numeric values, or a combination of them, is a string value. So even we can add special characters in a string. So let's say I have one variable as description, okay, and that has some values. Let's say this is a sample description. Please check it out 10 times. Just ignore whatever I have written there, but this is a sample text. So this is what a string value is. And if I want to print it in this interface, if we write it here and we run it, it will print it, even if we do not add one print statement. So whatever will be the last line, whatever the output of the last line will be, that will be printed here. So if we add a print statement, then we can see it printed like this. So now let's look into the different ways how we can define a string. Let me increase the size so that you can see it more clearly. So here you can see I have used a double quote. So if you are from Java background, you might be knowing that we use double quotes for string and single quotes for character. But in this case, in Python, if we use single quote, if we use single quote, it will also be considered as a string, because there is no concept of single character here. So this is the beauty of Python. We do not need to decide whether it is a character or it is a string. We can deal with them in the same manner. Now, this is about single quote and double quote. What about I want to split it into multiple lines? So let me have this single quote, and I want to add this statement. I want to add this statement like this. I want to print this statement like this. So what will happen? It will definitely throw me an error, because this is not a correct syntax. But how can I split it into two lines? Now, if you are already a Java or some other language programmer, then you might be thinking of a backslash character, which is \n, that is new line character. So definitely that will work. If I do that, it will come to the new line. But even if we do not want to use the backslash character or escape sequence, what we can do is we can add triple quote. What does it mean by triple quote? Triple quote means, let me show you, let me break it into two lines. And let me add here two more single quotes. And same thing goes here. So if I do that, you can see the colors are not getting changed for print statement. There is no abnormality in the color scheme. So if we run it, you can see it is working fine. The same thing will go for triple double quotes. So triple single quote and triple double quotes will work in the same manner. So if I will do this, triple double quote, it will also work. But the only caution here is we cannot mix the quotes. By saying that whatever we are starting with, we have to end it with the same. If we are using triple double quote here, we cannot use triple single quotes here. If I do this, it will throw an error. So whatever we are starting with, we have to end it with the same. So now it will work. Same thing goes for single line string also. If we are using single quote here, we have to end it with single quote as well. If we use a double quote here, it will not be able to recognize it. So if we are using double quotes here, if we are using double quotes at the beginning, we have to end it with double quotes as well. The same thing here. So we have to end with double quotes. If we are starting with single quote, we have to end with single quote. So it should be same in the beginning and the end of the string. So this is how we can define a string and we can print a string. Now, what about accessing the characters or substrings inside a string? So this is a very interesting thing. String slicing. So there is a very interesting thing which is string slicing. So basically, how that will work is, we can actually access the string characters, each character of the string or even the substrings by using the index number of the particular character or the substring. For example, if we consider this string, so it will be having the 0th character, it will be having the character at its 0th index as T. Then the character at first index is H, and so on. So the index starts from 0 and it will end here. So let me check what is the length of the string. So checking the length of the string is very simple. There is one function len. Len stands for length. And if we will add the string here, we can easily check the length of the string. So here we can see the length of the string is 59. If we want to add print statement over here, we can also add that. So we can see the 59 is the length of the string. Now, if we will try to access the first character of the string, then how we can access is, we can write the string name, we can add square brackets here, and we can add, let me take the comment from here because this is what we are doing here, and this is nothing but string length. So what we can do is we can just give the index number and we can see what is the character at that index number. So let me add a print statement here. Here I am adding 0. So 0 should give me a capital T. As expected, it is giving me the capital T. Now if I want to check the first index, it is giving me H. So this is the H. So what we wanted, it is exactly working the same manner. So if I want to print the last index value, as I have already told you that it is starting from 0 and this is 1. So if the length of the string is 59, then if it is starting from 0, it will be 0 to 58. So the last index will be printed. The last index of the string will be 58. So if we will print that, it should be a full stop. So as expected, we can see it is printing the correct thing. Now, what if I just want to print this part, sample? How I can do that? So I can do it easily with the same syntax with a square bracket. And then I have to put the lower index and the upper index minus 1. Why? Because whatever we will put here, it will exclude this index and it will take up to upper index minus 1. So what is the index of sample here? So if this is 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So from 11, so this is starting from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the 10th index. So I should write it as 10. And then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if I write 16, it will take 16 minus 1 and it is going to show me sample. So it is showing me sample here. So this is perfectly correct. Now, what if I want this times? So what I have to do is I have to count all these things and then I'll go to times. So Python makes our life even easier by giving us negative indexing. How that works? Let me show you. Python actually considers the negative indexes as the reverse way of traversing the string or even for lists. So if I say minus 1, it will consider this full stop. If I say minus 2, it will consider S. If I say minus 3, it will consider E. Let me show you. So if I say minus 1, it should print the, I'm extremely sorry for this one. It will print our full stop here. So let me comment these all so that you can just see the output of this one. So for minus 1, it is showing the full stop, which is the last value of the string. So let me print the description as well so that it is visible, you know. So this is what it is printing for minus 1. If I say minus 2, it will print S. In the same way, I can access the indexes from the back. So now if I want this times, so what I have to do is, as you already understood, that the lower index and the higher index we have to mention. So lower index is included, but the higher index is excluded. So in that sense, we have to add minus 1 here so that the full stop is excluded, but up to minus 2 it will take. Now minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. So we will take it from minus 6 to minus 2. So and we will write it minus 1 as the upper index so that it can easily exclude the full stop. So it should print the times. So we are getting the result as expected. This is what is called the string slicing. Now there is another interesting feature that is string reversing. We can easily reverse a string using this slicing. How we can do that? Let me show you. So, if we want to reverse this string, so what does that mean by reverse? This will be reversed. So it will be from full stop SEMIT space 01 space TOTUO. So it will be in reversed order. How we can do that is, if we say colon here, and if we do not mention the lower index, upper index, it will actually print the complete string. As you can see here, it is actually printing the complete string. So if we do not mention the lower index and or the upper index, it will take the lowest index or the maximum index by default. So for example, let me just add this lower index as 5 and I will just avoid the upper index. So what will happen here is, you can see it is taking from the index 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is taking from 5 to the last. So it is taking rest of the string. Same thing will happen if we will write 5 here. It will take 0 to 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to this, it will take from the beginning. So it is considering that as I have not mentioned the lower index, it will take from the beginning of the string. So you can see this with a space at the end. So it is taking the lower index by default. Now that is the reason why when I did not mention any index here, lower index and upper index both I have omitted. It is just giving me the entire string because it is taking from the beginning to the end of the string. Now there is another parameter here. So just for your understanding, let me add currently 0 to 5. So it should give me this, or maybe 0 to 4, so that I don't have the extra space after this. Now, if I want to reverse only this part, what I can do is, I can add a colon and I can add -1. So what this part does, this part actually says that what is the size, what is the step size of this iteration. So when we are traversing through the string, what should be the step size while traversing? So if I start from 0 and if I add a -1 to it, then what it will become? 0 minus 1. It can't go back. It can't go to the left side more. So if we take this step size as -1, what we need to do is we have to start from the higher index to the lower index. So this part we have to reverse. So we need from the third index. So we will say from the third index, start from the third index and go till the 0th index. So I will not mention anything. So it should go till the beginning. And here I am mentioning that -1 should be the step size. So what will happen? It will work like this. First, it will take this one, and then it will add -1, then it will go to this, then it will again add -1, it will go to this, then again add -1, and it will go to this. So it will be SIHT. Let me print it. So this is what we can see here, SIHT. So this is how we can reverse the entire string by just not mentioning any lower index, upper index. So it will automatically take the entire string and we can just say the step size is -1 and it will reverse the entire string just with a single line of code, without any loop, without any extra function. Now, if we want to print only the odd position letters, so how we can do that? By now you can easily guess, we can do that using the string slicing method again, because this is the step size. So for example, from 0 to 4, or maybe 0 to 11, so that I can take to the n. So 11 is this A, so I will take up to this much, up to S. So now I will say that I just want the alternative letters, like T I will take, I will take, then I will take the space, then I will take the S, then I will take the space again, and then I will take the S or space again. So this is how I will move. Let me have it as up to 12. So if I want only the alternate characters, then what I can do? I can add the step size as 2. So after T, it will go to the, after 0, it will go to the index 2. Then after 2, it will go to the index 4. And like that, it will skip. So the step size has been increased. And let me just run it. You can see T, I, space, S, space, A, S. So it is going like this, alternative. And now if I want the step size to be 3, that too we can do easily. So as you can see here, T, S, S, because that is the step size now. So what if we want only the odd positions value? Then we can start it from 1 and we can just run it. So it will just take H, S, I, A alternatively. So this is how we can manipulate the string. Now this is how you can work with string slicing. Another small thing I will talk about strings is, if we have a string here and if we want to change anything in this string, and if we think that by just changing, we can just do that using this index value. If we try to do this, it won't work because string is immutable. Let me run this code and you will see there will be an error. So it is showing an error. String object does not support item assignment. The string is actually unmutable. You cannot change a string once it is defined. What you can do is you can override the value by redefining it, but you cannot actually change a string after you have defined that. So this is what the basic things about string. We will discuss about the other things in upcoming videos.